Alright, so this is probably going to be the last video on Kenshi that I'm going to do. I'll start it off with a little tip for everyone. Over here in Squid, at the very entrance to the city, there is the guard barracks, and on the second floor, which is technically the second floor, but they label it floor 1 because the first floor is floor 0. There is some training dummies up here, and they're Mark 3. So they're level 3 training dummies, and you can actually use them here to train your guys' combat attack. So you can just increase the speed, and as long as the guards don't stay on the second level, they won't tell you to stop using it. But if they start sitting around here on the second level, then they'll tell you to stop using it and arrest you if you take too long to stop. So you just gotta be wary of that. But yeah, it'll slowly increase your attack up to a maximum of 15, I believe, which is a pretty good tip for just, it won't make you overpowered, but it'll give you a bit of a little bit of an edge on future fights and battles. So it'll slowly increase up to a maximum of 15, and that's pretty good. Okay, so when you're going to do combat, I'll just open the stat menu here. Okay, so when you're doing combat, there's one main stat that you're going to be focused on at the very beginning, and that's your toughness. And the only way to increase that level is to go get hit by enemies. Okay, so after toughness, you're going to concentrate on strength, and the way you're going to do that is you're going to have a heavy weapon. Heavy weapons, every time you hit an enemy with a heavy weapon class weapon, it will give you strength experience. A fragment axe is heavy weapon. There's a whole bunch of, it'll say below the name what class it is. Just grab a heavy weapon and start smacking things. Second, your dexterity will increase your attack speed and block speed. That's the third, that's actually not the second, but the third stat that you're going to be looking at is the dexterity. And the way you increase that is you use katanas. So as soon as you get your strength up high enough, however high that you want it to be at, you can switch to katanas, and it will, every time you hit an enemy with a katana, it will give you dexterity experience, and that's pretty good. Next, you're going to want to focus on your melee attack and melee defense, which will just naturally increase as you fight enemies. It's basically passive experience that you're gaining in battle. So just focus on these three main stats. Perception isn't really that useful unless you're going to do a turret or crossbow build. Martial arts, it's the same thing. You want to concentrate on strength and dexterity. So you gotta, like, if I was first starting out, I would just start with a heavy weapon and just go smack things. And that's basically it for the first little bit. I'd get out there and start getting them to smack me as much as possible. You go unconscious, and then your character will get toughness experience. That's just how it works in this game. I'll go find a battle, and I'll show you how it all comes together. Alright, I've gotten into a battle here. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to drop my backpack because it has my food in it. That's another tip for you if you don't want to lose your food. I'm going to put my bandages in my inventory. That way I can still use them without my backpack. So I'm going to drop that on the ground, and we're going to get into a fight. They've been chasing me for a little bit here. I wanted to get away from their camp. So then we're going to get into a fight, and they're going to kick my ass because I'm not strong enough to fight these guys. But every time that I'm going to throw this up here, every time that I hit with my axe, if I get a hit off here, it will increase my strength and my melee attack and my heavy weapons. I think blocking will also increase my heavy weapons. Okay, I'm unconscious. Toughness went up to 17, so it went up 2 points. I was unable to get the effect that I was looking for, but I'll try again. Oh, we got plain dead. Okay, so this plain dead status is very important. When enemies are nearby and you get up after you're in the state of playing dead, it will give you a massive boost to experience and toughness. I'm going to see if it works here. I'm not sure if it will because the enemies are kind of farther away now. But we'll see. So if I get up, oh yeah, see we went up 5 points in toughness. That's a really good boost. That's basically what you're going to focus on at the start, is just getting your toughness up. And your attack and defense, everything else will kind of increase passively until your toughness is strong enough that you can take on other stronger and stronger enemies. Yeah, basically you just go around and get your ass kicked by bandits over and over and over again. Until your toughness is strong enough to be able to, and your other stats are high enough to be able to win. Eventually that'll happen. Also, another thing to point out is that when your stats are lower than your enemy's stats, let's see, let's just pick out a random guy here. See, he's got some pretty, he's got a little bit higher, he's got quite a bit higher defense. See, all these guys have higher attack and defense than me. It means you get a bonus to experience fighting enemies that are stronger than you, and you get a debuff to experience when you're fighting enemies that are weaker than you. One thing to keep in mind. So if you really wanted to get going, is you get your toughness up to a certain level, and then you start going and seeking stronger enemies, or get a bunch of armor on your guy so that he can go take a beating, and then you go find someone who's way stronger than you and start fighting them. And your stats will increase drastically faster than if you're just piddling around with like the hungry bandits and these bandits here, the dust bandits. The dust bandits are pretty good for experience too, and so are at the very beginning, so are the hungry bandits. You just got to get into fights with everyone that you can and still survive, and then you'll be set. You're setting yourself up for success, but just focus on toughness. That's all you got to do. You can pretty much ignore all these stats. Just focus on toughness and strength, which you'll gain passively if you're using like a heavy weapon, or if you just have a bunch of stuff on. That'll also help. All right, that's it for this video. I'll probably be doing more Magic the Gathering stuff, or some other game, if anyone has any recommendations. Maybe like Ark, Survival Evolved, or Survival Ascended. I guess they got that new one out. I played quite a bit of Ark, but it's not really something I play anymore. I've been thinking about making some tutorials in that game as well. Some little bonus tips and tricks that I've learned playing that game for as long as I have. Or there's some other games, maybe. Yeah. Okay. See ya.